Okay, looks like we are live on Facebook. All right, so today we have a really great training, and I am going to be going over, if you guys are a new leader, you're going to want to stick around and you're going to want to watch this live all the way to the end. If you can't stay all the way to the end, check me out on YouTube. It's Coach Tina B 125. Make sure you click on subscribe so you get notified when I upload the replay to YouTube. All right, so this is for new leaders. Congrats on your new promotion. Here's what new leaders need to learn in order to build happy teams. Okay? So, when you first get promoted or you get a new leadership position, whether that is you've joined a company as a leader or you are being promoted from within. There's some slight differences that we're going to go over today, and we're going to talk about different ways that you can deal with some of the challenges that come up as being a new leader. And if you guys, as we're going through this, you guys find that there's certain things that you want to ask a certain question on, please make sure that you ask those questions. Even if I can't get to it on the live, I may create a training just for you. Okay, so this one is going out to Big Boss on TikTok. Thank you so much for asking the questions. So when you're a new team leader, okay, whether that's a supervisor, manager, VP, whatever it is, okay, when you are joining a new team, you don't really get to pick the people. You inherit the people. So you don't get to choose who you're working with. And you need to be able to adapt to the team that's there. And a lot of times some new leaders will come in and it's kind of like a cannonball. They try too hard. They want to assert their dominance and their authority. And that causes a lot of resistance and friction. And so you have to be careful when you're joining a new team to make sure that you're coming in with some certainty, with a level of confidence, so that you are not trying too hard to dominate, but you are also focusing more on learning and understanding what each of the new team members that you're joining that team, what they need and what they want. Okay? Now, this isn't to bow down to certain things, like you can't get walked all over. You also have to have some confidence with you. But at the same time, you want to make sure that you foster an environment of give and take, not just my way or the highway. Okay? Now, if you are being promoted, so you were on the team, you were just like a regular staff member, and then you first get promoted to a supervisor, you're going to have a bit of different challenges that come up. Now, this can happen in a new environment as well, but more often than not, this happens when it's an internal promotion. People have a hard time with the change, and sometimes you will have a hard time with the change in identity as you shift from being an employee to a leader. So some of the things that could come up, you could have jealousy, you could have competition. There may have been other people that were going for the same position that you were, and you were the one that got it. They may not feel that it's justified. They may feel like they should have got the promotion instead of you. And so learning how to deal with those negative reactions that possibly can come up from it. Doesn't always. Maybe sometimes people are happy. Maybe they recognize, no, you should have got the promotion. But sometimes there could be some underlying tones. And those are some other things that people don't really talk about when you're being promoted as a leader. And so you could have negative comments come towards you. They might call you like a sellout, or you were cutthroat and that's why you got the position, or you were a brown noser, like you were just the boss or the teacher's favorite pet kind of thing, right? They may even go so far, and this is not exclusive to women, this could also be men. They may say that you're sleeping with the boss, you're sleeping with the leader, and that's why you got the promotion. All of those things, what I need you to remember is if you are getting that kind of negative pushback, from the result of your promotion. What I want you to know is that any of that jealousy or competition vibe, I want you to look at that as a fear reaction, and it's coming from a lack mindset. Anytime somebody's in competition, they believe that there's scarcity, that there is not enough, that they weren't enough. And so you can end up with jealousy because they think that you have something that they can't have. And that might be the case in the case of this position. However, when you have been promoted and now those people have to report into you, you have to be aware of sometimes people will have bruised egos and how to deal with that in a way that fosters confidence in that other person, that that you still want the best for them, that it's not that they were terrible, right? So you have to build that ego back up again so that they feel confident, they feel good, and they will also then know that you actually earned your place as leader, right? Because if you beat them down, then that's not going to be a good vibe. They will, they could end up sabotaging your success as well. So you have to be careful with some of those kind of things. And I want you to make sure that you're protecting yourself, that you're not taking on their energy of fear. You are not taking on their projections of you didn't deserve that promotion and take that on as your own self-doubt. So this is why it's really important for you as a leader to do inner work, to really know who you are and know what you're able to bring to the table and that it has value. So when you do that internally and you have that within you, then no matter what other people say, it's not like you won't take any feedback, but you are going to be more like, imagine this massive rock on the beach, and the people's feedback is like the waves crashing against the rock. It's not going to destroy the rock, but it may soften out some of the hard edges over time, right? So another thing to keep in mind is a lot of times, and this can happen even if you're an employee, maybe you're the one looking at the person that got promoted and you're like, why did this person get promoted? And maybe it's because, oh, well, you know what, they were the best on the team. So imagine like a sales team and you had one person that was the star closer. They got the most closes, they got the most cash collected revenue, they did the most paid in fulls. Maybe they were the best of the best on the team. And then they get promoted to a leadership position. A couple of things could happen there. One, the team's overall performance drops because now your star closer is managing the rest of the people. And so that could cause some KPI challenges if you're measuring your team and then you're just like, oh, we're not bringing in as much revenue. So that could end up being a cost. The other thing is the person that maybe they were the star closer, when they start having to manage a bunch of other people, they feel less fulfilled because a lot of times those star players, they get their fulfillment off of the achievements, off of being the best. You can't have that when you're a leader. You no longer can be the best on your team. If you are focused on you being the best as a leader, the rest of the people are going to suffer. The best companies will take somebody who is maybe not the highest performer, but they are the best at helping each of the other team members perform at their best. That would be the person that I would choose as a leader. The one that helps the majority of the people rise to their best capability. They're not concerned with being number one. They're not concerned with dominating. They are not concerned with, being the highest performer. It's always good to be a high performer. Obviously, we always want to grow and do better. But when you are choosing somebody as a leader, make sure the person that you're choosing not only is a high performer, but they are able to help other people be a high performer. So if you are looking to move up in your company, don't only focus on your own performance, but focus on how you can help each one of the other team members get to your level. And even better, if you can help them surpass you. That is a great leader. Okay? So that is step number one. Step number two that you're going to want to focus on is communication. Communication is key as a leader. And being able to speak up and to communicate effectively. So that may mean you have to do multiple ways of communication that you weren't used to doing in the past. Maybe you weren't the one that spoke up in meetings. Maybe you were. And so whichever way it is, I know I've been in both shoes where I didn't speak up so much and I had to learn to voice my thoughts, my opinions, what I needed to communicate in a clear, concise way. And then there were other times where I also needed to remain more quiet and let the other people on the team speak up and let myself go last. That was one of my very early lessons because I was so used to being the keener, the one that showed up, the one that did everything, and I had my hand up first. And I was the kid that sat in the front of the class, not the back of the class. And I always sat in the front of the class. Why? Because I wanted to listen to everything that the teacher had to say. I wanted to hear what they were doing. I didn't want to miss anything. So, and I also didn't want the distraction of the other kids. So I always sat in the front of the class because of that. But communication is going to be key as a leader. So you have to understand people's different communication style. The most important thing about communication is knowing your audience. How do they like to be communicated with? Do you have a bunch of high competitive top performer kind of people that you're supervising or you're leading? They are going to want their information direct, to the point, numbers focused, not a lot of fluff. Just get to it. Okay, so know who you're talking to. Maybe you have people that are a little bit more fun, a little bit more boisterous, and they're always joking and kibitzing around, and they're the life of the party kind of people. If you try to take that same approach with those people, they might be okay with the numbers, but they're going to see you as a little bit too stern, a little bit too rigid, and making sure that you focus on making things fun, making things light. Don't get too heavy, don't get too serious. Know how that you're communicating with them. And then you have some other people that are very team focused, right? And they care about everybody's feelings and what everybody's thinking. They want to make sure everybody feels included. So if you're too short, direct, curt, to the point, those people may not be too open or receptive to you. They may hold back. They may not speak up. And so you have to pay attention to how you're communicating to those people, because you want their feedback. And so you need to be able to leave enough space. So this is the times where I had to learn to button my mouth and be quiet and allow room for other people to be able to speak up, and reaffirm them when those kind of people, when they finally take the chance to speak up. Give them kudos. Give them a lot of praise and a lot of recognition for adding their thoughts, their feedback, even if it's not on target or on point. You want to foster an environment where those kind of people also feel like speaking up, because if not, you're going to be missing out on a lot of valuable information, a lot of valuable insight from those kind of people, because those kind of people often will work in the background, making sure that the team environment is actually collaborative, and they care about the other person's family, and they'll remember your spouse's birthday, and they'll remember your dog's name, and those kind of people really foster a family environment. So encouraging those people to speak up and voice their thoughts, their opinions, is very, very valuable. Okay. And then the fourth group, those ones are going to be the ones that they want you to stick to the rules. They want you to stick to the structure. They don't want it loosey-goosey. They don't want too much of a party vibe. And you want to be able to communicate to them in ways where you can present facts, documentation. They're going to want written stuff. They may listen to you, but they're going to want written stuff so that they can go through a checklist, something they can review afterwards, recap with an email, something like that. It'll go a long way to build trust. They need a little bit more time to digest the information that you're giving them. And if you talk too quickly, they may miss some key information. So understand how to communicate with those kind of people and know which type of people you're communicating with. Now, if you have a good team, you're probably going to have a mix of everybody. So you want to start with the quick, direct stuff and then have a little bit more of the lively stuff, then the more emotional kind of connection, and then making sure all the facts, figures, and pertinent information is included at the end, okay? And another piece about communication that I want to talk to, and you need to be really mindful of as a leader, is you need to monitor your own internal communication, because nothing is going to derail you faster than the thoughts in your own head. If you are doing a presentation or you're speaking to your team and you're delivering a message, and in the back of your mind you're saying things like, oh, I'm not saying this right, oh, they don't like me, you're reading maybe some facial cues and they don't seem interested, or they got flat faces, and you're just like, oh, they hate me, they don't like me, I'm not doing this right, they don't respect me, whatever it is. Pay attention to that narrative that's going on in your own mind, because that is going to throw you off faster than anything. So really, really monitor that and learn to shift that to something that is actually beneficial to you. So even if you are saying things wrong, and maybe you're not quite as confident as you want to be about the subject matter that you're delivering, make sure that you give yourself some grace. Make sure that you get the information. You don't try to hide it, because if internally you're saying, even if I make a mistake, I know I will go get the correct answer and I will bring that forth to the team and I will let them know the right information. The team's going to have so much more respect for you as a leader than somebody who tries to hide and pretend that they have all the answers. Okay? Because if you try to be like that, all they're going to do is try to trip you up to try and prove. It's like, see, I knew they weren't that perfect. Don't do that. Be authentic, be real, be genuine with your approach. If you don't know something, say, you know what, that's a great question. I'm glad you brought it up. Thank you so much. I'm going to take note of that. I will get back to you guys with an answer with that. So thanks for drawing my attention to it. So don't try to hide things that you don't know. As a leader, your job is not to be the best of the best. Your job is to make them the best of the best. Okay? Big, big difference. So last thing with communication. Ask for feedback from the team. Ask and pull their thoughts, their opinions out of them. Now, those dominant types, they're definitely going to have a lot to say. So you also have to control the room to make sure other people still have a chance to voice their opinions, okay? Because if you let those dominant ones talk first, oftentimes what will happen is everybody else will just agree with them because they're afraid to contradict. So let the timid ones talk first, okay? Ask them their opinions first. Let the dominant ones go last. They may not like that, but reassure them that, you know what, you're saving the best information for last, okay? That's the most important piece. Let these people that don't normally speak up voice their thoughts first, okay? Now, when you're asking for feedback, don't overdo it. I've seen some bad examples of this over my career, and where people they don't really know the answer, so they'll twist it around, and they'll just ask a question and ask a question and ask a question, but they don't really know the answer. But guess what? Your team is going to catch on to that energetically. They will pick up the vibe that you don't really know what you're doing. But if you own it, they can't use that on you. They, it's like, and if you own it, you're also going to be much more likely to say, you know what? I don't know the answer, but I'm damn well going to find out because I don't like looking foolish, right? So if you're in a leadership position, oftentimes you're going to try to find out the answer. You don't have to know everything, but you will find out the answer. You will get the information. You'll present that properly. So don't try to hide it. Ask the team for feedback, but don't overdo it, okay? And the third and most important thing as a leader, it's not about you anymore. It's not about your performance, how great you are. And so many leaders get frustrated because their metrics, their numbers are dependent on the team's performance. And so sometimes if you're a leader who hasn't done any inner work, it can be tempting to blame the team for not doing things. Blame the team when you said, well, I told them that they were supposed to do this and they didn't do it. An effective leader will find a way to get those people to not only do the things, because you can get people to do things out of fear and intimidation, and a lot of leaders do default to this because it's quick, it's effective, but it's not a long-term solution. And over time, it has a diminishing return. You won't get the same effect. It's no different than a mom who yells at her kids. Eventually, the kids just learn to tune her out, right? So if you're always using fear, aggression, anger, intimidation to get people to finally do something, that is a strong sign that you need some help as a leader. It's not something to be ashamed of. It just means that you need to work on managing your emotions, and you need to work on your communication so that it's effective, that people understand what it is that you want, what it is that you need from them, and how they can go about doing that. So, like I said, it's not about you anymore. It's about you helping every single person on your team perform at their highest, best selves. And you want to get everybody on your team to peak performance. And a great way to help foster future leaders is you want to be able to take those people that are the shining stars and start seeing if they can help the lower performers and help them bring up their numbers, so that it's not just one person that wins, everybody wins. And when the whole team wins, the company wins, you win as a leader. It is amazing because there's no need to compete then, because you guys are all working together. And if you guys are all doing that and you all are bringing your best, happiest selves, you're going to dominate in the market anyway. So make sure that you are doing that stuff and helping everybody on the team hit their goals. And when you do that as a leader, then you will hit your goals as well. So make sure it's always about them and not about you. If you find that you're getting frustrated, make sure you watch some of my other videos on my YouTube channel on how you can bring that focus back to yourself, how you can manage some of your emotions so that you can shift from your identity of being an employee or a new leader into a strong, fulfilling leader, okay? And one last thing that I want to leave you guys with is great leaders want everybody to not only be at their best performance, but great leaders really want everybody to do better than them, right? Just like a parent, right? A parent wants their children to have a better life than they did. They want to go out of their way and do everything that they can to make sure their child succeeds. So a lot of ways, becoming a leader in a company at whatever level, it's like becoming a parent. That your focus now is not on you. So if you have selfish tendencies, you're going to have a rough go of it. And you need to be able to learn how to focus on other people and bringing them up to where they need to be. So Guys, that is the training for today. I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure you go to my YouTube channel, Coach Tina B 125, and subscribe so that you get notified when I upload the replay. There's over 170 videos there that you guys can take a look at, and I talk a lot about business, change management, emotions, and a trauma-informed approach to change management, because at the end of the day, we can have so many systems, but systems only take us so far. The relationships that you build, whether that's in leadership, customer service, sales, anything, those will matter much more over time, and that requires emotional awareness and emotional growth and inner work. So if that's something that you or your team may need some help with, DM me for some more information. I do have a 5-day workshop for companies to be able to help you guys when you're stuck with certain projects that you guys can't seem to break past a barrier. I bring you guys all together, I walk you through a process, and that you come out of it with a detailed action plan on how to change the system, change the status that you guys are in, whatever it is that you want to hit that barrier and break through that. So guys, that's the training for today. I hope you enjoyed it. Have a great night, and we'll see you again tomorrow. Thank you so much on TikTok for all the likes and the gifts. I appreciate you guys. Have a great day. Bye.